runaway. She's being returned to her custodial parent. It's more complicated than an Uber driver can handle. Plus, it would be a hell of a lot more expensive." I stopped in my tracks. "Exactly how far away does the kid's mother live?" He shuffled a little uncomfortably. Phoenix?" "Okay, wait. I need to drive to Santa Fe, pick up this girl from social services, and then drive her all the way to Phoenix? That's a minimum of 8 or 9 hours of driving." He sent me the look. "For you, Miss Leadfoot, I'm sure you can accomplish it in 7. Get started now and you'll have her there by dinner time tonight. Get yourself a room somewhere and enjoy a leisurely drive home by yourself tomorrow." He glanced at the book in my hand. "Think of it. A quiet evening in a hotel to read all you want, and then you'll have 2 days free to bake pies with Elsa. I promise. No work over the weekend." I had to admit that held a certain appeal. I cannot tell you how many times a case has become a 24/7 proposition. "Trade cars with me." He eyed his sporty Mustang parked next to my Jeep. The Wrangler is perfect as my around-town vehicle and great for Drake's and my getaways to the mountains. But as a long-haul interstate highway vehicle, its comfort leaves something to be desired. I could make the trip in less time and with less hip agony, and he realized I would be a much happier camper that way. "Okay," he grumbled a little and held out his keys. "You take care of it, and mind your speed." "You watch my baby in those parking garages downtown," I reminded. "Deal." He reached into the slender portfolio he carried downstairs and pulled out 2 sheets of paper. "Here are your details and the authorization form from the caseworker for you to take custody of the girl." I glanced over it and took in the particulars. Pick up one Sophie Marie O'Connell at the Health and Social Services Building in Santa Fe. Deliver her to Dixie O'Connell in Mesa, Arizona. The delivery address was on Brown Road, which I knew from previous visits to Mesa to be a major street, so I hoped the drop-off would be as quick and simple as Ron had hinted. Sophie was 13 years old, thankfully not a little child. We could probably fill the time with girl talk and it would pass quickly. I figured 1 hour to Santa Fe, a few minutes to pick up the girl and sign the release form. I wouldn't even bother with an overnight bag. This time of year, I carry an emergency kit in the Jeep. A heavy coat, snow boots, insulated water bottle, and a supply of power bars and energy snacks. It's my just-in-case for the times we make last-minute plans to go to our little mountain cabin or take a day for snowshoeing. Not that there's enough snow in mid-November to really count. While Ron transferred my bag to the trunk of his car, I called and canceled my pedicure. Sitting in the Mustang, I took a minute to get familiar with the buttons and dials and checked the weather forecast on my phone. Everything looked clear and good. Little did I know. Chapter 2. Exactly 54 minutes later, I pulled into the parking lot at my Santa Fe destination. I didn't know the layout of the government building, but a helpful directory of white letters on black background sent me to room 207. Elena Garcia awaited my arrival and looked somewhat relieved that I had arrived before her lunch break. She tilted her head toward a glassed-in room where I saw a teen sitting at a Formica-topped table, her eyes intent on her phone, thumbs moving a mile a minute. "That's Sophie," Elena told me. She had already picked up a manila folder and was on her way to the room where Sophie waited. She didn't look up when we entered. I noted a slender young woman with lithe limbs, wearing a short white flared skirt, bolero-length red jacket with fringe down the front, and red cowboy boots. Her blonde hair hung straight to the middle of her back and shielded her face, but I spotted a soft jawline and straight nose. "Sophie, your ride is here," Elena said. No reaction. Elena crossed to the far side of the room and lifted a backpack that sat on the floor. "Don't forget your things." She plopped it on the table inches from the girl's phone. "Okay, I get it," Sophie said. After a full minute, she took her eyes from the phone and looked at us, revealing dark brown eyes and a deep dimple in her chin. She wore minimal makeup and seemed